There's something about the chill of a long winter night that makes us remember how families used to gather around the fire. Before modern furnaces and central heating, people had to get creative just to stay warm. From glowing stoves to heavy quilts, these old methods weren't just about comfort. They were about survival. And along the way, they shaped some of our most cherished family memories. Today, we're looking at 10 old home heating methods that kept families warm in the coldest winters. Number 1. The open hearth fireplace. For centuries, the open hearth was the beating heart of the home. Families cooked their meals over it, dried their clothes by it, and sat together in its glow. It wasn't the most efficient way to heat a house. Most of the warmth went right up the chimney, but it brought people close. Imagine the sound of crackling logs, the shadows dancing on the wall, and everyone gathered in the one room just to keep warm. Number 2. Cast iron wood stoves. In the 1800s, wood stoves became the pride of many American homes. Made of heavy cast iron, they burned hotter and longer than an open fire. Families would load them with logs before bed, hoping the embers would last until morning. These stoves didn't just warm the house. They became the centerpiece of kitchens and parlors, with ornate designs that made them as decorative as they were practical. Number 3. Potbelly stoves. You could find potbelly stoves everywhere. From train stations to schoolhouses, their rounded shape and glowing fire made them both useful and inviting. People would crowd around, holding out their hands or resting their boots on the iron rim. While they didn't heat an entire house, they created little islands of warmth where stories were told and neighbors gathered. Number 4. Coal furnaces. By the early 20th century, coal became king. Coal furnaces sat in the basement with family members, often kids, shoveling in black lumps to keep the fire alive. It was dirty, dusty work, but the heat it produced was steady and strong. The sound of coal clattering down the chute, or the smell of it burning, is a memory that still lingers for many who grew up in that era. Number 3. Radiators with steam heat. For city families, nothing was more comforting than the hiss and clang of a steam radiator. These iron giants lined the walls of apartments and houses, slowly releasing waves of heat. Kids would warm their socks on them or even sit on top with a blanket. Though bulky and loud, radiators had a charm of their own, and they lasted for generations. Number 6. Kerosene heaters. When wood or coal wasn't available, kerosene heaters offered a portable solution. Families could carry them from room to room, lighting them with care. They gave off a strong smell and had to be watched closely, but on freezing nights, their warmth was welcome. Many still remember the faint glow and steady hum that came from these little heaters. Number 7. Bed warmers. Long before electric blankets, people relied on brass or copper pans filled with hot coals. These bed warmers were slid under the sheets to take the chill off before climbing in. Of course, you had to be careful not to scorch the bedding, but for many, this was the only way to make a freezing bed bearable. It was a small ritual that turned bedtime into a moment of comfort. Number 8. Feather beds and heavy quilts. Sometimes, the best heat wasn't fire at all. It was insulation. Thick feather beds and layered quilts kept families cozy even when the room itself was icy. Mothers and grandmothers often stitched these quilts by hand, turning scraps of fabric into family treasures. On the coldest nights, kids would pile in together under heavy covers, creating a shared warmth that no furnace could replace. Number 9. Blocked off rooms. When fuel was scarce, families got clever. They would block off unused rooms with curtains, or even hang blankets over doorways, keeping everyone in just 1 or 2 heated spaces. The parlor or kitchen became the gathering spot, with the rest of the house left to freeze. It wasn't ideal, but it made the warmth you did have feel all the more precious. Number 10. Hot water bottles and heated bricks. For personal comfort, nothing beat a hot water bottle, or in earlier times, a heated brick wrapped in cloth, tucked under the covers. They kept toes from freezing through the night. Simple, effective, and surprisingly long-lasting. These little heat sources were a small luxury in a world before central heating. Many still remember the relief of climbing into a cold bed and finding one waiting. Looking back, it's amazing how much effort it once took just to stay warm. But in those old methods, there's a kind of beauty. Families gathered together, working with what they had, and creating memories that still glow like embers today. Which of these heating methods do you remember? Or which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip back in time, be sure to like, subscribe, and join us again for more stories from the past.